All right, folks. It is Monday night. It is 6 p.m. You know what that means. Well, you might not, because I haven't done this on a Monday. But now you will. Hello, friends and foes. Welcome to what I like to call the come up. We are in the midst of a pandemic and in the midst of a technical world where we're learning how things work. So bear with us. This is our first time trying to have three folks on the platform. So things happen. So we're just gonna start where we are, and we're just trying to figure it out from there. But hello, I think it's because it's the first Monday. Like the world's like, what do you mean you're doing the comp on a Monday? That doesn't happen. It's on Wednesdays. But this is happening right now because I decided that I wanted to do another episode. I want to talk to some people that I really like and admire a lot, some musicians that I'm huge fans of, and we have one backstage. We're going to work on getting the other one, and if not, I have the other one right here on my phone. I'm going to like put my thing here, and he's going to like talk into it. It's going to be hilarious. This is going to be the best episode of television you've seen in your entire life. Since we have one here, it's been a lot of time. Like a lot's been going on in the past few weeks, and last week was a major week in music. We lost some pretty big names, and I was also having some other conversations with these two folks in particular, and so I wanted to keep this conversation moving and bring it to y'all because I love having nerdy conversations about crazy shit. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my very good friend Caitlin Daniels to continue this conversation with him. Caitlin,
It's me.
it's you. Hello, how are
Hi,
you?
Nick. I'm so good. I'm like in stupid awe of your theme song. Like, I covet theme songs. Listen here. And yours is all right. It's all right. It's pretty legit. There are, I don't know how, okay, we're going to count them out loud. Okay, so I listen to a lot of podcasts, right?
Yeah,
And the theme song for the podcast really says a lot about how good the podcast is going to be. And so, can you hear me? Okay. And so, with that being said, I think that yours is a top one. There's a podcast called Couples Therapy that I listen to, and I rap the theme song every time I hear it. There's that one. Um, Oh, there's a new, I don't want to plug, well, okay, I'm gonna. There's a web series called Being Gay Kinda Sucks. That one, I love that theme song. It's done by my boyfriend and it's really funny. And then if you do nothing else tonight, Nick, I need you to listen to, and I think I've already told you this, if you don't listen to the podcast, that's fine, but the theme song to the Scrubs podcast by
it's
Donald Faison
good.
and Zach Braff.
I like
Have
it.
you listened to the podcast or just
I
the
haven't listened to the podcast, but I did hear the theme song. It was great.
theme song?
You're a theme
I
song
love that
aficionado.
theme song. No, like truly I am. I
Okay,
love theme songs.
but can we talk about the fact that the thing that most people learned? I was one of the people. Did we know that Little Richard sang the theme song to the Magic School Bus? Are you learning that right now on the come up? You heard it here
Sir,
first, folks.
what did you
Yes,
just tell me?
Little Richard sang the theme song to the come up. I mean, not the come up.
No, tell people that. Tell people that. Hold fast. That's
No,
strong.
he says the theme song, not to the come up, not to the
That's
come up,
good.
to the Magic School
That's really
Bus.
good. Oh my
Right?
God. It
Now
only makes
it
sense.
makes
You
sense.
know, no, it only makes sense. But you know what other theme song I know you also love that I love? What
Which
is
one?
it? What is it on Netflix? Family Reunion with Tia Mowry
I
and
want you
Loretta
to meet my
Devine?
family. Listen,
She goes off
here's what
in
I'll
that
say
theme song.
about that theme song. Like that show, questionable. Like there, I'm like leaking over here. Jesus Christ, the allergy gods have just not with it
Oh
today.
no.
Anyway, I that show is questionable at best. But that theme song is iconic. It's
It
amazing.
truly is.
Family reunion, yeah.
No.
I know she scats. She scats at the beginning because she's an
It's
icon.
so good.
I
It's
love
so
Loretta
good.
Devine. I feel like
I
Loretta
know.
Devine falls in that like interesting camp of people that it's like you were never a singer, but should you have been? Like
Shouldn't you have been?
it's like her and like
Well, that's why is so iconic because when she does sing, she's blessing us. Like it
right.
is a gift to hear Loretta Devine sing when she seldom does.
How do you feel about Cheryl Lee Rolfe singing? Does that give you a similar feel?
I don't know if I've heard her sing.
She was the original Dina in Dreamgirls, so she knows you've heard her sing. Just kidding.
Oh, I don't know original people like her.
Listen, because the
Don't bring up
film,
musical theater. I'll embarrass myself.
she's like, that's not what we're here for. Well, this is not a
It's not what
musical
we're here
theater.
for. Oh my God, once upon a time. I used to want to do musical theater, and I did do musical theater a lot, but I just like I well, I'm not a triple threat. I can move, I can't act, I'm not a dancer, I'm not an actor. And so I never really like dived into to soundtracks and specific like Broadway stars catalogs and that
Right.
kind of stuff. I know I love Audra McDowell. Um,
McDonald. Oh my God.
See, I don't even know. That's embarrassing.
It's
But here
fine.
we
It's
are.
fine.
We're
Listen, okay.
doing our best.
So
It's a pandemic.
it's a pandemic, and that's something that we always need to remind people is that things are always falling apart around us. So here's the thing.
Exactly.
So Caitlin does this thing where she's like, "I don't do musicals. That's not who I am." But let's be real. Me and Caitlin met doing exactly a musical. We met doing Ghost the musical. I have photographic evidence.
Wow, look at that arm.
Girl, killing it. You, but you played my wife. You're still in my phone as wife. You're still Caitlin hashtag wife.
You are my first husband. First and like only, really. Let's get real.
Listen, listen. We're just
Listen.
gonna we're just gonna keep that going. I'm happy to be your husband. Well, we used to live together,
We did.
and we used to watch a lot of classic films like the Cheetah Girls. And
Classic
that's the only one I
cinematography.
can think of. But we also watched Selena. And that's
Yeah.
kind of where this whole like idea for this episode was birthed, or where it came from, really, is because we were talking about Selena and how much we love her and her like legacy, and if that legacy would still be a thing had she not passed the way that she did, or when she did, right?
Right. Yeah. And I have been thinking about it since we talked about it. What was it? A week and a half ago? A week ago. And I don't know, Nick.
Yeah, still not sure.
I'm not sure. Remind me, you said that you think that she would have skyrocketed. There would be there. Tell me your hot points.
Okay, so here's my hottest take. Hold on, y'all. I like to be very transparent on the come up. We're still working on getting Brandon here. God, this allergy eye is like really living his whole dream. We're still working on getting Brandon here. I'm gonna send the link a different way, and then we're gonna see if we can get him in the room. But we are working on it, people. Working on it. Okay. So my hot points. Here's the thing. I think that Selena kind of started to encompass what we look at as like this modern pop star, right? This like filling stadiums, her costumes, the bustiers, like this. She was starting to do this thing that was super exciting, and then she also had just started to sing in English. So I think that had she had time to because I think the biggest argument is that like was she truly a crossover artist or was she just popular within Latinx populations? And I think she was heavily popular in Latinx populations, but that's because she was singing in Spanish and like
Mm.
and when she died is when she was about to kind of start singing in English and pop off in a real way, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, sookie now. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Please welcome also to the come up, Brendan Lumpkin.
Hello.
Ah!
Hi. Hi.
This is amazing. We
It
did
worked.
it. We're in
Hey,
here.
We're
Brandon,
here.
Caitlin, Brandon.
Hello,
listen.
Brandon.
Hey, boo. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, love?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm so good. Listen. Um, can y'all hear me clearly?
We hear you perfect.
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, Nick. Obviously, we're in Chicago. It is the gloomiest day I've ever seen. I'm downtown right now, and it's so foggy. Um,
Oh.
Yeah, it's like super foggy. And the interesting part is like nobody's wearing masks today. I guess they decided that they didn't want to. And I'm just like, do not approach. Do not. Let's
The
just
hardest
not.
pass. The hardest pass.
Let's not. Yeah.
Well, I'm so
No,
happy you could
I
make it all the
haven't.
way from downtown Chicago.
Yeah.
Me too. Me
What
too.
is that drink? What are you drinking? That looks delicious.
So listen, I needed I needed some coffee, so I went and got that. And I went to Dunkin' because all of the Starbucks stores decided that they wanted to be closed. So I went to Dunkin' to grab some coffee. I also haven't eaten today, so like this coffee in my system is about to give me the biggest burst of energy. So I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm sorry.
Let's
I'm
go.
sorry.
No,
I'm
it's so
sorry.
okay. We love energy here at the come up. You missed the theme song. I would play it again, but it's a whole minute long, so I'm not going to do it.
I
Okay, well
welcome
don't
it.
do it.
I welcome it.
But David Kornfeld, by the way, is the one that orchestrated that. So, like, thank you, David, for making that happen. Folks, we're here. We're live. We were talking about Selena because we love her. And Caitlin, I had just told you that like she had just started singing in English, and she was kind of like
Mhm.
creating this like persona of the modern pop star that we like. It's what J Lo kind of I think modeled her career after in
For
some
sure.
ways. Yeah. What do
Yeah.
you okay? Where do you live on that like cusp, Caitlin? Do you still don't think she would be the thing? What do you think? Where do you feel? Where do you land?
As far as J-Lo or Selena would be the thing.
Selena. Like, would we know
No.
J Lo?
Okay, wait. Here's my question, and I believe you answered this the night that we initially talked about it. But did Selena originally sing in English, or did she originally sing in Spanish? Because I thought her thing was that she originally sang in English, and people in Mexico like weren't welcoming to her. Like they didn't really want to root for her because she was singing in English, and all of a sudden she like decided to sing in Spanish. That's what I thought. Am I wrong?
Okay, so what I had learned from the my deep research of the film, they started by singing the song "Blue Moon" in all those books.
Right, right, right.
And I think the thing was that like her I think she did start singing in English and they were like, no, that's not a thing. And then she sang in Spanish, but
Right.
then she started wearing bustiers. See, I got all mixed up with my history in the movie. I'm like trying to figure out which came first.
So I know, like, which one is fact and which one is fiction, for sure. Um, well, okay, but the reason why I asked that is because that's a really important part. Because if she did start in one language or another, that definitely has to do with her trajectory and how she would be perceived today if she were still alive, I think.
Totally.
But with what I know and who she was before she passed or was murdered, I think that I truly don't think that she would be like J Lo or Beyonce level right now. I think that I think that there would have been a lot of other powers at bay to try to hold her back, and she would have been suppressed either way, honestly. But I don't know. I don't know. There's so much to it. And I feel like I don't know, I don't have a cultivated, like, backed, like, thought about it. It's all just gut feelings that I have about Selena and society.
Listen, that's
But
what it's
Okay,
about.
yeah, you know?
so I feel like I hear you, right? And I thought the same thing for a minute. I was like, no, the powers that be wouldn't let her. But then I thought about like Gloria Estefan and what she means to America now. And I think that had Selena still been alive, she would have been the Gloria Estefan of that generation for us right
Mm,
now. I feel like that's what she would have been because Beyonce was somebody that looked up to, Selena musically, like it with
Hmm.
all of her artistry and her hustle and, all of that. So I
mm.
definitely think that, um, but this is just, me in my mind. I'm like, it would have been Selena and then Beyonce. Beehive, don't shoot me. I'm so sorry. Um, I don't know. I feel like that's what it would have been because Selena was a natural singer. She was a natural dancer.
Mm.
Because there are some artists out here who are not naturals and who really have to work at it. They really have to work at it, but it's okay because they put on amazing shows. I am not saying any names.
You're not saying names? No names?
Oh,
Nope, I'm not saying any names. I'm not. I'm not ruining my career before it started. No, ma'am.
oh my gosh. Wow.
Well, okay.
Yeah, please, by
No,
all
you keep
means.
going. I was about to change, so you keep talking. Say, make your point.
Honestly, I don't remember what I was gonna say. So
Ah, well, okay. So since we're coming a little, this is backtracking a little bit. You mentioned your career just starting, but I mean, you both have amazing careers. I want to talk about you and what you do a little bit. Brandon, you sang for a lot of people. What's your life? You're from Chicago. You are, like breathe and live music. What do you do? What's your jam? Give us a little intro.
Okay. I am from Chicago. I attribute a lot of my success to the Chicago Children's Choir because they've been incredibly kind to me through all of the years. And if you don't know anything about the Chicago Children's Choir, real quick, it's a choir that was founded out of the civil rights movement. And Reverend Christopher Moore, here from Chicago, he got a group of kids together in Hyde Park of all different backgrounds, and he's like, the way to bring peace to the world is through music, and we're going to do it through children. So it started from that one choir in Hyde Park, and it grew into this massive organization. And now I'm on staff with the Chicago Children's Choir as an accompanist, and we serve over 5,200 singers across. Oh my God, that is so cool. We serve 5,200 singers across the city of Chicago. So we've touched every zip code. We have um, how many schools do we have? We have over 100 in-school choirs. We have 10 different neighborhood choirs, and our top performing ensemble is called the Voice of Chicago, and they travel all over the world, and they are amazing. So I really got my start in music from them, and then I started doing other stuff. Yes, I was raised in church, and I've been minister of music since I was like 15, and I play piano and organ, and I've sung for some, like if you name them, I've probably sung background for them. So that is my little ditty.
All right. And Caitlin Daniels, based in Minnesota, Minneapolis, we met doing Ghost, and you also do some singing around the city. And like, tell me about your life. What's your back? What's happening?
yeah. Well, I am a vocalist, a background vocalist, lead vocalist. I do a little bit of arranging, a little bit of songwriting. I went to a small, tiny, sad music school called McNally Smith College of Music that is now closed, not because of the pandemic, LMAO. Um,
But I love that's like that.
and
Okay, so here's the thing. You would always tell me about this school, and I was like, that sounds like Hogwarts, but only for music after the '60s. It's like it sounds like the perfect.
listen, yes. Listen, this school was the school of my camp rock dreams. Like all I ever wanted to do when I was a kid was go to a music summer camp or like Zoe 101 boarding school, like that kind of thing. That's how this school felt and it was amazing. We had an incredible faculty. Our students were incredible. We had just the resources that were available to us were outstanding. Exactly. The resources that were available to us were insane. And now that is not, now it's unfortunately not available to us. And so, you know, pivoting. We're pivoting. We're years later, we're still pivoting. Nick and I met doing a show called Ghost the Musical. That's right.
Yes, we did.
Ghost, starring
The
Whoopi
film.
Goldberg
Yes.
and Patrick Swayze.
Yes.
Turned into a musical. Brandon, I don't think you understand, but okay. It was something. It was something.
Molly, you in danger, girl. You in danger, girl.
Woo! Exactly. All of that and more.
So much more.
And now I am, waiting for bars to be open so I can sing some more.
Girl, cause it be like that, okay? Like, see, now this is what I don't understand. I'm sorry, okay, this is the thing about, so I'm in my car, if you hadn't noticed, and I'm people watching because I want to be aware of my surroundings because we live in Chicago.
Sure.
This father is walking and he makes his child wear this mask, but he is just all willy-nilly and free, and I'm like, sir, just because one person in your party has on a mask does not make you to whatever. You gotta wear one too, stupid.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
The problem with everything that's going on is no one knows what's going on. We don't know what to do.
And everybody
Except
just-
for, I don't know, listen to the CDC.
I
I'm
know,
done. Okay, I'm
like,
done.
just do a couple things, I mean, I know it's hard. I was talking to somebody today, and we got into this conversation, and something I've been hearing a lot about, like, being inside is so hard, like this, and I'm like, the thing is, it is, but, like, we drop bombs on a lot of people that have to stay inside forever. Like, so, this is a very small thing that we are being asked to do right now. Make sure that we
Really?
don't all, because people are dying by the thousands. Anyway.
No, absolutely. America's privilege is showing 100%.
Yeah. Oh,
Absolutely.
100%. Speaking of which, that's a weird segue. I said dying by the thousand. That reminded me of the people that died last week. They did not die of COVID-19. But we got,
Wait, do we know that factually?
I mean, we don't. The families didn't actually say if they were COVID related or not.
Okay.
But I feel like this is one of this is such also an odd thing to say. One of the few times where a celebrity has passed and we're like, oh, but they were like older. Like, I feel like more questions are asked if they're not. But I feel like people just kind of accepted. They were like, oh,
Well, Betty
That's a good
Wright
point.
passed away,
yes.
but she
Right.
was only 66.
Yeah.
She was pretty young, wasn't she?
She was 66.
No, that is such a good point, Nick. Like when people, and I'm guilty of this too. I do this all the time. When people are over a certain age, it's like okay for them to die. Which is
strange.
like, it's strange, but I feel like maybe we just like shouldn't think it's okay for anyone to die, or
Yeah.
maybe we should just accept it when everyone dies. Like I feel like we shouldn't like pick and choose,
Right.
Huh.
Well, and then also like it's picking and choosing like who we discuss. I mean, but also like Andre Harrell died last week, and that got buried under like the Little Richard and Betty Wright news, which is interesting to me because I would think that Andre would usurp Betty in some cases just because of how the relevancy heavy quotes
Absolutely.
of his work. But that's not what happened, which is fascinating.
Huh.
And also, okay.
Wonder.
Here's a thought I have, and a question that's become to me. Why do we think we always hear this thing of like specifically black musicians only get their flowers or their due after they're gone? But to who is my question. It's like, because I mean, we knew that Little Richard and Betty Wright and like these people were like amazing, but like, why does it take a passing for them to be like, oh yeah, he was the father of rock and roll? Like what?
Well, okay, to that, I just want to say that when Little Richard was like doing his stuff, when he was first coming on the scene, everybody was stealing his stuff and then making it, they were becoming more famous than he was. So he would never have gotten the just due until he died, because Elvis was around, during that
Mm-hmm.
time, stealing all the stuff along with everybody else. So like they were all like, "Oh my God, Elvis!" And Little Richard is like, "No, Mama, I did that, like me. So, what's up?" Even when he got on the Grammys that year and was like, "Y'all ain't never gave me no Grammy. Y'all ain't, never recognized me for nothing." Like, read the whole the whole Academy down and got a standing ovation. He was like, "I am the originator." Yeah. Oh, if you haven't seen the clip, go on YouTube, honey. It is there.
Haven't. Oh my God.
it,
Because
it,
he
it,
will throw out originator at the drop of a
but
hat. I
but
am the
that
originator.
but
Yes,
that
he
literally is what
knew.
he was. That literally is what he
Yeah,
was.
absolutely.
And um, I feel like because there were so many people trying to do exactly what he was doing, and the world was eating it up, that is why the world wouldn't really know that he really was the originator until he passed. As opposed to Aretha Franklin. Everybody knew who Aretha was. Not only
Mm-hmm.
did we in the African American community know, but the white people knew too because nobody could do what she was doing. Nobody was running like that. Nobody had the range. Nobody had the piano chops. Aretha was the original what she was doing. Nobody had it like her. So she was able to let the entire world know, like, make room because here I am. But Little Richard had so much competition. He had so much um, just adversity in trying to make a name for himself where everybody was stealing his stuff. So that's why I feel like that happened like that for him.
Well, as a genre, though, it's just rock and roll in general was stolen from Black people, right? But I wonder because so you bring up Aretha Franklin and you bring up Little Richard, but I wonder the biggest difference between the two of them is their gender, right? And I wonder if a big part of why I use that term loosely, why we didn't acknowledge him the way that we did was because he was a queer Black man. Because it's easy to digest Aretha. She's a Black woman with soul. She can play piano. She sings gospel. She can run. But when you see that entire package in a man, is it different?
That's interesting because Brandon and I were also having a talk at one point. We talked about we ourselves were saying that it's difficult for us to kind of pinpoint male singers that we're like, yes, like that's like I love that man. Like he's but like
For sure.
we can go down the list. Aretha, Patty, like we go, like I
Mm-hmm.
can name for days the women that I'm like, yes, like let's just keep
The
going.
list.
So what
The
is
list.
that?
A
That's
scroll.
I guess what is it the manness of the blackness? Is it the gayness in the blackness? Like what do we think is that disconnect when it comes to male black artists and their prominence in America?
Well, I think that singing itself, music alone is a very vulnerable thing, that and songwriting, it's a vulnerable thing, but singing especially is very vulnerable. And when you I think, I don't know, like I feel like when you have a man who wails the way that Little Richard did and can express himself the way that Little Richard did, which was like you said, Brandon, unlike anything that anyone was doing. Like I think that's what made people so uncomfortable, and that's what like what's the word like confirmed his art. You know, because isn't the whole
hmm
point of
hmm
art to like make people uncomfortable and to make people talk? I don't
I
know.
think so. Yeah.
I think so too. Well, I mean, but then I look at other people at the time like Jerry Lee Lewis, right? The like like it's like and I'm like, what, like those camps aren't very different. And I think that he was celebrated
True.
for his antics, for being out there and then marrying his 14-year-old cousin. We don't need to talk about it, but that did happen. I saw him. I saw Jerry Lee Lewis at Riot Fest. Quick sidebar.
Are you sure we don't need to talk about it?
I mean, so that's what's interesting about it is it's presented almost as if as the who's the guy that makes movies that also married his adopted child. But anyway, so like the way it's
Uh,
presented,
Roman
is it?
Polanski?
I'm sorry. Is it? I don't want to say
Is
that.
it
Woody
Andy-
Allen. Woody Allen.
Woody.
Woody
Okay.
Allen.
That's
So-
exactly what I was thinking about. It's
I
Woody
almost said
Allen.
Andy Warhol.
Oh.
I need help.
So I mean,
Jesus.
the way it's presented, it's always it's presented as like just a part of the narrative, right? Like it's just like, and then he married this person who he raised, and it's like what? Like it's kind of presented that same way with Jerry Lee Lewis, where it's like, but everyone was an adult by the time it happened, but it's like no, that's not okay.
No.
And I think that, I mean, kind of pushing towards this, like there's a white male privilege to that, and which brings me to a documentary I watched the other night about Sam Cooke. And so, like, you know, Sam, in my opinion, spread this lie about how he was about to brutally attack this woman, which is why he was like, but it's like, it's interesting that like not even the sheen of music, the sheen of glamour, the sheen of fame can protect black folks from this the surmise of politics and the surmise of scandal. It's just so much easier for us to be taken down by that. So why is that? Why are they afraid of us? Why are they afraid of specifically black musicians like with a powerful voice that could make something happen? Like what do we think, folks? Chew on
I
that.
don't know that it's necessarily black musicians. I just think black people in entertainment, period. We get the reins pulled back on us so much. Like I have, and I mean, I guess we'll have to have another episode of the come up for this, but I have all these theories about Michael Jackson and the way he died, and like he was.
I want to hear every single one.
Me too.
He was about to purchase Sony, and then he died.
That's right.
Bill Cosby was about to purchase NBC, and then all of these allegations came out. You know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily like it's the timing of it, and I'm not negating anything that either of these men may or may not have done. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying like anytime we go to do something incredible, somehow something happens. You know, it's like, and I don't talk like this on social media, but it's always some shit. Like something happens. Like anytime we go to do something amazing, something happens, you know? I mean, Nick, you know, we talk about how Whitney Houston is my favorite singer,
Yes.
but like surrounding The Bodyguard, they went and dug up all of that stuff concerning her miscarriage. Like, why?
Why?
The success
Wait,
of the movie is
I'm
what,
sorry. Do you mean like during promos and stuff when they knew that the movie was coming out, the press like dug up information?
like
Ugh.
they went and dug up all of this stuff about like, you know, her appearances or, you know, her weight gain, her weight loss, and, you know, all of that. Like she had a miscarriage like during the filming of the movie, and they dug all of that up. Like, girl, it was a whole bunch. But like anytime like we go to do something incredible, you know, like we just get shot down. And I don't think it's just in music. I think it's in entertainment, period. Like, and I mean,
Yeah.
the country has been like this for forever and a day. Like it's nothing new, you know? And I mean, I hate that it's our norm, but this is why I love black people so much. We have persevered through everything. Like we not stopping now, you know what I mean? Like we know that adversity is going to come. And I think that we are the people who hope for the best, but we prepare for the worst because we just know, you know what I mean? Like we know.
Wow.
So yeah. Like I said, I've had all this coffee.
No,
That was wonderful.
that's
Okay.
beautiful.
Okay.
It's always so funny. People always come on the show and they like talk and like drop some knowledge and they're like, I am so sorry. I am talking so much. I'm like, bitch, it's a talk show. Hello. We are live.
That was beautiful, Brandon. No, it sucks how true it is. Like how much fact there is to everything that you just said. And I don't know. Like I don't know why it is that artists like Sam Cooke and like, I don't know, my one argument to what you just said, Brandon, though, is what about Beyonce? She's done greatness. Is it the Illuminati?
See, but okay, so it could be the Illuminati. But here's the thing I think, and this is part of this is
Like, no, even with that though, like, so B goes to do what is it, the MTV Awards where she does Love on Top, right? Now everybody's saying she got a fake baby bump. You know what I'm saying? Like that thing was huge for her
Yes.
because
Yeah.
like Beyonce's not exempt. Like they go after her in the media all the time. She's never ever going to get the recognition that she deserves until she's dead, like straight up. Because I was just talking to somebody earlier about whether she was iconic or legendary. And Nick, we've had this conversation before.
That's the next
but,
point.
like,
You get ready.
but like she's never going to get it because everybody's like, no, anybody whose career launched in the mid 90s, like they're not a legend. And I'm just like, oh, I don't know. She's done so many incredible things. I'm actually torn, but like I feel like B is one of those people who's not going to get it until she's expired, until she's out of here. She's not going to get that just due from the world like she deserves.
It's so interesting you say that because I feel like what does the just do look like? Because I mean everyone loves her. It seems to me like it seems like she has.
Dionne Warwick doesn't because she said Beyonce's not. She's not an icon. She's not even an icon in Dionne Warwick's eyes. She's not even.
No.
Wait, Dionne, if you have any thoughts, we're still live for a couple more minutes. Go ahead and call it. But wait, so
That's what she said. The interview's on YouTube if you want to find it.
listen. Okay, couple things. First, okay, so what? Brandon and I have had this conversation, and Caitlin and I have briefly had this conversation. But what makes a legend? What makes an icon? Is there a difference? Like, what's that difference? Is it semantics, or is it like, is there a litmus test that we should apply?
See, I think legendary stands the test of time. Like there is nothing, there are no
Longevity. Yes, ma'am.
trends. Exactly.
Yes,
There are no
ma'am.
trends, no fads or anything that can shake a legend, right? An icon is hot now. Right? That's what I think.
No, I feel that. So
Yeah.
so is someone able to, like, before Whitney died? I mean, is it because of the span of her career that she was a legend, or did she become a legend after? Because she was still active, right? So, like, with that, keep
Sure.
her icon. But I think she's
Yeah.
always been legendary. Like, she's amazing. I love her.
I think Whitney Houston became a legend when she broke the record and got 7 consecutive #1 hits while like surpassing the Beatles, surpassing Elvis. I think that's when she became a legend. Like not only was she the first woman to do that, not only was she the first African American to do that, she was the first person to do that, surpassing the Beatles and Elvis. So like I feel like that's when Whitney became legendary. But to the point, Beyonce, if we're talking about standing the test of time, Mama is still out here working and has been doing it for decades. So like, is she not legend though? Like I had to go back and rethink, Nick, because Beyonce was the first woman. No, I'm sorry, the first Black woman at Coachella, right?
It's a
Yes.
headline. Yes. Yeah.
So yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's huge. Beyonce launched her own, like, I mean, of course, with her husband, but like streaming service, right?
Yeah.
Like their own, like it's theirs. Beyonce is a billionaire and she didn't have to sell her body to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like the woman has been working. I feel like, although like, money is like superficial or a streaming service might not be huge to a lot of people, that's huge. Like she's a Black woman out here, like doing it. Not like any of these other people who've had sex tapes to launch their careers and then decided to go into makeup or like home decorating or being lawyers or anything.
And bring their family with them.
No shade to anybody. To God be the glory for that for them. Anyway, all I'm saying is like she might be a legend.
Okay. Speaking
Because
of,
she's definitely iconic. And to me, I agree with Caitlin. Like iconic is you're hot for the moment, you're hot right now. But Beyonce has been hot right now and for the moment for decades at this point. So I think she's iconic and quite possibly legendary.
Yes. Oh my God, it's true. She's both. It's
Yeah.
so true. But that's the thing about like being a legend. Like, don't get me wrong, you can be a legend and still be alive. Like you're saying, Brandon, Beyonce is a legend. Like she has broken all types of ceilings, every single barrier. She's done it all. But then she's also still so hot. Like she's both.
Yes.
She is
Like
both. She for real
even now, like I mean, earlier this morning, I'm still bumping like all the stuff. Like School and Life, I feel like from what album was that? 4? It's
Yeah.
still like one of my favorite songs. And I mean, the song is so real. And I love a song with a good message in it. I feel like lyrically that song speaks to me. And just melodically, I feel like the lyric and the melody they marry, and it's an orgasm, and it's just all of that. So I'm bumping School and Life in the shower, had it on repeat, almost slipped and fell and bust my foot. Like it was not cute. Okay,
Oh.
but no, she's iconic. I feel like I feel like she's possibly legendary. But then like even with legends, I do feel like we have living legends. And before a few days ago, I was like, no, you either have to be old or you have to be dead in order to be a legend. But I think Beyonce has broken that stigma. Like Stevie Wonder, in my mind, living legend. Okay, Dionne Warwick, in my mind, living legend. Um, just I mean, all these people we have, Patti LaBelle, living legend. Tina Turner, living legend. Um, but Beyonce, like, she's not 40 yet, right? No, according to the
No, not
according
yet.
to
No, not yet.
Not yet.
according to all of the stuff, she's not 40 yet. But she's out here, working, and I think she's a living legend.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a name of someone that I love a lot and think like never gets flowers. Has like I mean, in certain populations, yes, but not the amount of flowers I think they need for like the major moves and shifts they have made in R&B music. Brandy Norwood. Can we talk about it? I'm a big fan of Brandy. I think Brandy is brilliant.
Icon.
I think that her style has shaped what we now hear as contemporary R&B. Like this stuff that they're playing out, like where they're like, "Ooh, let's play with auto tune." Like that was all Brandeis.
Listen, I was listening to there was a tribute to Babyface on, I can't remember what it was on, but I feel like it was on like um it was one of these award shows. It was a tribute to Babyface, and she came out and sang "Sitting Up in My Room" from the Waiting to Excel soundtrack. And here I am studying this girl all over again because her vocal arrangement was different. And I feel like background harmonies have been shaped by the Brandy Norwood sound. Like all of these like really tight harmonies that you hear in music today came from Brandy. Nobody was doing that before her. Well, nobody in like in secular music anyway. Now there are people in gospel music who have been doing it for years. Like the Clark sisters
Sure.
or commissioned or the Winans, any of those people. But like in
In
secular music,
mainstream music.
nobody, right. Nobody was doing those harmonies except her. And then the way she was doing them was so innovative. You listen to stuff like people like Ariana Grande that's putting stuff out now. All of that's Brandy Norwood harmony. You listen to Billie Eilish, that's Brandy Norwood harmony. Like I don't care who your influences are, baby, that's Brandy. I don't care who you think you might have gotten it from. Brandy did that. Period. Pooh. That's
Okay,
it.
but would you call her a legend?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, not only are you out here singing for the gods, she was the first black Cinderella.
Yes.
Okay, like
And
first
the
black
only Cinderella that matters. I said it.
Facts.
I said it.
Facts.
Okay,
I mean,
Disney is very, very dear to my heart, so I don't know that I can publicly agree with that. But
Publicly. We hear you, Brandon.
Yeah, like I feel like okay, so anyway, she was the first black Cinderella. Not only like first black one, but then like slayed the vocals in it, okay? Mama had her own TV show,
Moesha.
Moesha, okay? For years, right? Like hit prime time TV show.
Got a
Like
spinoff. It sparked a spinoff.
okay. Then I mean she's been acting for years. Listen, Brandy North, yes, living legend. Because everybody she's like another Little Richard. Like everybody's biting off of Brandy. Everybody's biting
so
off that
true.
sound. Like you're not gonna get that nowhere else.
Wow.
That's why they
I
call
just
her the
got
vocal
goosebumps
Bible.
comparing her. You comparing her to Little Richard just gave me goosebumps. That is so real. And just like you said before, she's not going to get her flowers until after she's expired.
hmm
Dang.
I'm so happy we agree. Caitlin, you are cute as a button. I've been wanting to say that this whole time. Like, oh my God, I'm having the
No, you. No, you. Let's be friends after this.
Yes, let's do this all the time.
Listen, this was beautiful, and like, I mean, I can't even
Oh
believe
wait,
it's
are we
already been.
going right now?
I mean, it's been 46 minutes. Did you know?
No.
I didn't know. This has been amazing. Y'all, clearly was not enough. We got to keep going. We'll figure out when we'll get the next one. I'll bring these two kooky folks back and we'll keep talking. But thank you for starting this conversation, Brandon. I'm so happy you're able to get into the room. That makes us very happy.
I'm happy I was able to get in too, because you know I was over here freaking out. I was like, oh my God, it's not working. Oh my God.
Oh, no.
Like, I felt like, what's her name? Regina Hall, when she was with Kevin Hart a couple weeks ago. Like, I'm alone. Like, it was just, yeah, I was having a moment. I was freaking out.
Done.
I can't with you. Thank you so much for being here, Brendan. Caitlin, thank you for being here. You're wonderful and beautiful and amazing. And listen, y'all, stay backstage for a little bit. I'll bring us back out. We'll chat after I do my little closer bit. I'll be right back. Bye, y'all. Oh my God, people. This is so exciting. What a wonderful time and thing I've done talking to these friends of mine. Next week on The Come Up, we have my friend Jamila Henson. She is an arts curator, and she's also an arts programmer, a grassroots archivist. I'm not sure what any of that means. So she's gonna come and talk to us about it because I love her. I wanna figure out what's going on in the artistic world as well. Folks, this was wonderful. You're beautiful and exciting. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you next time on The Come Up.